So I know so many of you guys are excited about adoption, but you might be on different parts of the journey. Right. Some of you might be far into the adoption process, but some of you might be just now asking the questions, I think I might want to adopt, but I know nothing yet. So these were the questions that we had to ask ourselves before we started the adoption process. So question number 1, are you and your spouse on the same page?
What do you mean by that?
And I know sometimes you think, well, obviously I already know the answer to that, but sometimes you might actually not be on the same page as much as you thought you were.
Right.
So I would just encourage you, homework step number 1 is to talk with your spouse again. Make sure you are on the same page. You don't need to hold back. This is where you really need to dig through, answer everything. This is gonna change your life. So you need to not hold anything back because you're too afraid to talk to your spouse of something that's on your heart. You need to be open and honest with each other and make sure that you guys are on the same page.
It's so true, you guys. And I would say the biggest fear that keeps couples from connecting is not talking through and getting to the same spot on, are we ready to have a family that doesn't reflect our genetics and our biology? It's huge, and it's a huge, huge issue that if unspoken about, you get to places where you go, I'm ready to adopt, but the other isn't, and you can't go through a process like this if you're not together and unified.
And I would say, do you guys want to guess who was ready before the other? I would say normally one person is really ready, and maybe the other one is saying that they're ready, but maybe they're not. That's what I'm saying in the sense you need to be open and honest with each other. For us, Philip was actually ready before I was ready. But it might be the opposite for you, where you as the wife might be ready and the husband might not be. Question number 2, am I emotionally ready to adopt?
That's a really good question.
And it might change from season to season. Just because you might not be ready doesn't mean that you won't be ready. Or opposite, you might be ready now, but you might go through a season, maybe I'm not ready in this point. So really trying to figure out what are the steps to help me get emotionally prepared.
If I'm speaking to the guy here, emotions are hard for us at times. Sometimes we don't want to face them, and sometimes we're cool with just getting into it together. And your marriage is critical as you guys are approaching adoption to be on the same page emotionally and talk about those hard things and not be afraid to face them and say, you know, I'm struggling today. I just feel like this is too expensive. I feel like my job has too many stresses right now. I'm not sure how our family's going to take this. I'm not sure how we're going to find the right support. But yes, Alex, it's that emotional question is paramount because you need to have an emotionally strong couple bringing in this child. So adoption isn't just about you guys. It is about that child first and foremost. But if you're not strong as a unit, it's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah, exactly. So where are the ways that we can make sure we're emotionally strong? Communicating with each other, communicating with a counselor, professional, or you can also do counsel with another party, whether that's maybe a family member, whether that's friends, just getting to the point where you are emotionally healthy.
Yes.
Okay, question number 3. What is my plan to financially be able to afford this adoption?
Finance is that one topic in life that people are afraid to talk about. There's a stigma about how much do I make and can we afford this and what car am I driving and is my house big enough? And let's just cut that right now. And let's just say right now, at the very core of this, adopting is not about financial. If you go into adoption saying we can't afford this, there's no way. Friends, I just want to tell you, you've already started in defeat. You need to start in adoption with, it's not just us, it's the community around us. People give to vision and dreaming more than they're going to give to, I need this, I have to have this, all of that. So make your approach about adoption and your approach to fundraising and your approach to having people walk around you saying, our dream is to build a family, a strong family. And there's children out there that need a home, a loving home, a caring home, a compassionate, nurturing home. And we can provide that, but we need you. So that's your plug. That's your pitch.
Vision.
That's your vision. And so you need to make sure that it's not, you're not adopting because of finance, because there are people around you. There's a wealth of people in this world that would love to be able to help you build your family. You've got to be confident about that and say, you know what, we're not going to let money get in the way of us not building our family.
Yeah, and you're not going to be naive either in the sense where, oh, well, now I just am not going to worry about it at all.
Right.
You come at it with a plan, but not let it to be fear.
Totally.
So if you want some more fundraising ideas, I'm thinking that we're going to try to make a lot of those kind of videos because that's the number one fear in adoption usually is financial. We're going to find ways that we're going to fundraise together to make sure that finances are not an issue.
Yes. Can I add a small caveat to that? And I think it's critical, you guys, that if you guys even want financial advice outside of just the adoption and fertility spectrum, there's some really great programs if you guys would like to find out about what we went through to be debt-free, some of the things that really, really allowed us to have a high impact in our life and the ability to be able to adopt our girls. This is a whole piece on financial. We'd love to bring that to you guys. If you're interested, like this video and go ahead and comment down below and make sure that you let us know that that's something that's important to you so that we can create that.
It's not just finances in this specific situation. It is a lifetime of financial decisions that we would love to bring information to you guys.
Exactly.
So those 3 questions are really things that you guys need to really dig down deep together and just have conversations. I mean, every night really getting to the nitty gritty and talking about these. We definitely don't want walls to be built up through the adoption process. If walls are being built up, it's really important for you to tackle those walls first before adding a child into the mix.
I love that.
Okay, so now that we've kind of tackled these emotional discussions that you need to have and really dig deep, now we'll go kind of practical. What are 3 things that you really need to think about before entering the adoption process or just trying to figure out which road to go down? So road number 1, are you going to go international or domestic adoption? And then once you've chosen international or domestic, let's say you choose domestic here in the United States, there are 3 routes that you can go. In that route, you can go with an adoption attorney, you can go with an adoption agency, or you can use an adoption consultant. Those are the 3 routes that you can go straight to adoption.
And we have seen successful adoptions, ours and others, and friends of ours and people like you guys that already told us in all 3 different realms of those types of adoptions. And so there is not one cookie cutter way to adopt. There's a lot of great ways that might fit you personally. And so it is a personal preference and it is what is available in your area as well.
Exactly. And these are the questions that you just need to be asking before you adopt.
Right.
And lastly, are you going to go with open adoption or closed adoption?
What does that even mean?
We definitely want to do a whole video on that, but just a quick explanation. Open adoption has a huge range from sending letters through an agency, maybe not even back and forth, but just letters that might be sitting there available, all the way to texting each other and having visits. So open adoption has a very huge range, but you do know about the expectant mother and her history. Closed adoptions can happen when there's an emergent situation where a child is left at a hospital, or if an expectant mother chooses closed adoption. Most agencies that we know of, we don't really know many that will allow you to do a closed adoption by your choice as the adoptive parents. If the expectant mother chooses closed adoption, that's when that happens, but it's not something usually that you can go into it saying, I want a closed adoption. There may be some organizations out there that will accommodate that choice, but it is definitely something that we want to do a whole video here to kind of dig down and dig deep of what are the thoughts and the fears behind open and closed adoption. Well, I hope this video gave you guys some good conversation pieces for you to discuss before starting the adoption process. If any of you have adopted already, or if you even can think of some more questions, leave them in the comments below of things that we should keep discussing and maybe other things that we should talk about before starting the adoption process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you guys have any other video ideas that you would like, you can also leave those in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for being with us today.
Go let your love multiply.
Bye, guys.
Bye.